So first I'm going to try it in Nomad Sculpt. I'll add a box and we'll tap these three dots. So we get these, this is before validation. So, and also just to step back, if you press here, if you look at smooth shading, my auto is on. So some of you might have it off. If it's off, it'll be sharp. But if it's on, and then it will kind of look like this, it'll look a little weird. So I like to keep mine on. My auto is on. So for this tutorial, this is going to be on. Okay, so we tap these three little dots, and I'm going to put post subdivision up to 2 for now. You can see it looks a little bit better, a little bit more rounded. We're going to bring division X down until it's like somewhere kind of where we want. That looks good, but I don't like this. See how even though it's smooth shading, you can still see the polygons. You can still see the shapes. You know, like I want it to be smooth. I'm not using this for animation or anything like that. I want it to be smooth. So I'm going to put the post subdivision up again. And this is 9,000. You can still sort of see them, but it's still not so bad. Maybe I can bring this down again. Okay, so now it's 6,000. It's pretty good. It's pretty smooth. And I'm just going to keep that. So I'm going to go ahead and validate it. And I'm going to rename this YouTube Cube 3D. Okay, so we have our cube. So now we need the triangle. So it's not really easy to get a triangle in Nomad. Maybe it is. Maybe I just don't know how to do it. But I can't think of an easy way to get a triangle. So if I take a box and I go like this, and there's no easy way to just bring these two sides like down together. That would be really what you want to do. Well, let's see if I can figure it out. If I figure it out, I'll show you. If not, I'll just skip this. So yeah, I can't figure out an easy way to do it. So therefore, I'm going to use Valence. So let's just go and let's pop into Valence. You can see that I've already been working on it. So let's go ahead and delete these. The only problem is I don't really use this app, so everything is a bit difficult to figure out how to do. Yeah, like I just guessed on how to erase those, but it worked. So let's add, they have a rounded cube here, and maybe we want a little more, size is okay. Maybe we want a little more resolution, because we want the corners to be, oh no, this is less resolution. I want more, I think. So we'll put that to 20. What is radius? Let's see. Oh, yeah, radius. So we want it around, I like around there. I think that looks good. So we'll confirm this. And now let's do the triangle. So let's move this back and let's do the triangle. So let's add okay, so they have something called a squircle. Might be cool as well. So it's just like a square with rounded edges, but we can take depth and go like this, because that might be cool actually as well for putting the YouTube symbol in. And let's rotate it to 90. Okay, so now we have that. Let's move it back. So now let's add a box. And sorry about this light. I have my window open, so I'm not a complete vampire. So we'll add a box. Size, I think that's fine. Let's see. Depth, let's see if we can make it thinner. So we'll go ahead and confirm the box. So let's see if I can remember how to do this. So let's take, we want the edge. So I think this is edges. So we'll take that and bring this down to the red line. And it kind of snaps, makes it easy. Okay, so we'll take this edge. And then we'll move it up to this red line. All right, let's take the whole thing. I'm still not actually sure how to move the whole thing. Is this the whole thing? Okay, so now we have these 3 pieces that we can bring over to Nomad. So let's go ahead and export STLs, I guess. Confirm to Nomad, and we'll add to scene. So they're probably really small, so we'll make them bigger and we'll turn them around. Okay, so these are all the pieces. You can see they look really weird. So let's just split them all first. So we'll take split. So we'll split this triangle A. Let's go back here and split this. And this will be the, let's just call this badge. And this can be, as the name of the same thing, YouTube Cube B. Okay, what is this? What is this box? Oh, that's that. We don't need this box, so I'm gonna get rid of that. Okay, so this one is 2,402. So this is the one from Valence. This is the one that we made. Let's make these the same size. Let's make all of these the same size. So let's make all of these bigger. And for this one, it looks really weird, so let's turn smooth shading off. Let's clone this one and name it B. So this one is triangle B. Okay, so now I just wanted to make a clone of that. So now we have 2 triangles. And we'll go ahead and kind of paste this in the middle there. We'll make it a little smaller. I'm gonna go ahead and color these just so they're easier to see. So I'll just color them red. And this badge, let's move up. And it looks like I have to turn smooth shading off, I guess. But that's the problem. See, I brought it over, and now you can see these edges, which I hate. So, I mean, it's 80, it's only 80 vertices, but still, like, I hate seeing that. Like, when I bring it over to Blender or something, I don't want to see this. And I can't do smooth shading because then it looks funny. So let's try, that's the one thing that I don't really understand. Like, people are always so crazy about how many vertices you're using. But like, for me, it's like, I don't want to see the vertices. I think inherently, like, I think it looks terrible when I can see the vertices. So I don't really, you know, luckily I don't really do it for animation or any of that stuff. So it doesn't really matter to me. I only print, and maybe I do some like small animations in Blender, but like not really. So let's subdivide this, and you can see it looks horrific. So that didn't work. So let's, I think even if I turn this off and subdivide, I think it's probably gonna do the same thing. Yeah. Okay, so maybe I have to just voxel remesh it. So let's try it like 150. Okay, so that's better. We'll put it on auto, so that's a little better. I'm gonna take smooth, and I'm gonna go to symmetry and just turn all of these on. Let's go to local. So that way, if I do something here, it should be on all sides. It just makes it easy. Okay, I'm gonna voxel remesh it again. Actually, let's voxel remesh it a little bit higher. And let's smooth it again. Okay, so I mean, now it's smooth. I mean, it's not really what we were going for, but it's fine. But it's 129K, so you can decimate it. But I'm gonna, instead of decimating, I'm gonna go ahead and use quad remesher because I have it. So let's do 2000, turn symmetry off and remesh. So hopefully this will just make it smaller. And hopefully I won't be able to see, I can see them. I hate it. I hate that. I don't know how you can get this smaller with still having it looking smooth. If anyone knows, tell me. But it's something that I don't understand. I don't get it. And I hate it. Let's see if I decimate, if it does that. If I can get it down lower. Okay, so I decimated, so that's lower. The wireframe, I'm sure, looks way more crazy, but it just looks way better at 500. So I'm gonna keep it there because I don't care. Okay, so I wonder if I can decimate this one. Let's see what happens if I decimate our original one. It still looks good, even at 770. I think it still looks good. I don't know how it's going to look on Blender. I'll bring it back to 1500. Okay, so let's go to view. So this one's 1500, this one's 2000. I'm going to go ahead and paste this in here. We'll make it smaller. Okay, so that's a good size. This one is got to be in the center as well, maybe a little smaller. That's a good size as well. The only problem is, oh, I need to make another one too, don't I? So let's clone this and name it C. And we'll bring it up. Let's paint this. So now we'll put this little triangle here. We'll make it smaller. You can see how technical I am. I do everything by eye. I don't think everything has to be like perfect. I'd rather just work by eye. You gotta keep that human element to it. Okay, so now we have very similar shapes. The only problem is I want this to be rounded. I don't know if I like it completely with the hard, let's clone this, and this will be, I'm done naming them something fancy. So we'll take the YouTube Cube 3, we'll take this, we'll clone it, and we'll just name it Try 3. We'll connect them, and we'll just bring them, let's bring them over. Okay, so what I want to try here, so this is only 6. I mean, that's great and all, but what if you want to make it round, like the edge is round? How would I even do that? So we can't multi-res because it'll break. If I put it in auto, it looks funny, but it's better to put it on, it's better to put smooth shading on if I want these to be rounded. So, okay, so what we needed to do was voxel remesh. So I'm gonna voxel remesh this to like 200. So that should give us some roundness. And now I want to smooth, but I want to do the same thing. Put on local. And let's see if I can smooth the edges. So they smoothed out a little bit, but not as much. I'm actually gonna actually, let's not undo. Let's just leave it there. If you have a round edge, you can use that as well. But it's still too sharp. So let's voxel remesh it lower. So this is gonna lower the resolution and make it softer, make it easier to smooth. I'm gonna use round edge. I have a video on how to make that if you don't already have it. So that looks pretty round. So that's kind of what I'm going for. Let's take a look at the wireframe. It looks very dense. So we'll decimate, we'll go here, miscellaneous, we'll decimate it. Let's turn the wireframe off so I can actually see it. Decimate, decimate, decimate. That looks pretty good. Okay, so now we have a more round, cute YouTube thing. I guess this one looks more realistic, and it looks more like the actual thing. So let's connect all these so they don't get lost. So cube A, cube B, connect these. The letters are all off. I should switch these. Let's just switch them. We'll make this A, try C, badge. Okay, nice. Okay, so these should move together. Where's the grid? Let's bring back the grid. Whoops. And let's take everything and just move it. Because I always bring these into Blender and I do these little animations where these are in the background or something. So I like to just kind of put them on that horizon line right there and in the middle. So let's go ahead and save this. So now we have all these. We can see how they look in Blender because these are great. Like, you can call this done if you just want to use Nomad. They look fantastic, but I want to see what they look like in Blender. So let's go ahead and export GLTF all, and then we'll export, and I'll airdrop these to my computer. All right, so now we're on my computer. Let's go ahead and open up Blender. And this is the one that I was working on that I probably just showed you, with this little guy going across here, and then Drug Free Dave lighting up. So I like to make little things like that. So I'm going to open Lightbright, which is just like my little backdrop that I've been using. Let's get rid of this. And let's import GLTF, downloads, YouTube cube. All right, so those are our beautiful YouTube cubes. So let's take a look. It might be easier to use Eevee. Excuse me, so we'll use Eevee for now. So one thing that you have to do when you bring them over into Blender, let's select all of these. I'm just going to bring them into head sample. So as long as they're all selected, I'm going to click Shade Smooth and see how they look. So they all look pretty good. These parts need to be shaded flat, it looks like. Okay. I think I like this one the best. Let's move this in a little bit more. Let's take a look at our camera, what our camera sees. We'll turn this light down a little bit. We'll do 150. Let's take a look and see if we add a different key. Oh, that looks so pretty though, with the blue there. Maybe we'll turn this down a little bit. Maybe we'll move it a little closer. My computer heating up. All right, so let's go back to cycles and let's light one of these puppies up. Let's light this one up. So I'm going to change the emission. So I'm in the shader editor. I'm going to change the emission strength to 1. And that looks good. The only thing you want to do, or that I like to do, is make sure that the focus makes sense. So I'm going to zoom in a bit. Change the f-stop to 0.1. I changed it to 0.1 so that it's very blurry, except for the little sliver where it should be in focus. So now I should be able to find the focus. So I'll keep moving it down. Okay. So that looks pretty much in focus. So now I'm going to take the f-stop and just increase it so that it's not, so that the ends of the boxes aren't so out of focus. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. And while I'm here, let's change the roughness of one. We'll change the roughness on that one. We'll make this one super glossy. Yeah, and we'll just see how they look. All right, so let's render this. Let's make sure our render options are decent. So 350, probably doesn't need to be that high. I'm just gonna do 250. All right, so let's go ahead and render this and we'll see what we get. We'll see which one we like better. So it might take, actually I don't know how long it'll take. It's a bit slow. I'll be back when it's done. And there is actually, this is extra credit, so you can use this website, text2stl.mestres.fr. So you can Google it, or just Google text2stl. You can use this site to import words or anything else you might want. So let's say you can add your own font. So you can change all your fonts. They have some fonts available. You can add a custom font. So if I add a custom font here, browse my computer, downloads, fonts. Oh, let's try Brocats. Everything looks good. You can change the sizing if you needed to or something like that, and you can export STL. I like to do show. Change this to DFD. I think it was Brocats. I get my fonts from defont.com. I like to use the free ones so I don't have to worry about. Now that I do stuff so much and I make so many videos, and I'm using things like commercially and things too, I try to use absolutely 100% free fonts. So let's try, I hope Brocats is free. So let's open up Blender again. Okay, so I think I like this one the most. So let's hide all the other ones. So now let's import. So we'll go File, Import, STL. DFD Brocats, we'll import that. It's really big. So you can see, so we'll hit S, we'll shrink it. Yeah, let's zoom in a bit. That actually looks kind of cool. It looks kind of like a cool backdrop. If I'm being honest, that looks really cool. So I kind of like that, so I'm going to Shift D, and then I'm going to hit Z, no, X, Y, we'll hit Y, we'll bring it down. Now this one I want to shrink more, zoom in, we'll shrink more. Okay, now we can kind of move it into position. Let's take this and move it over. I kind of like it so you can see the 3D-ness of it. Alright, and let's rotate this. I know I want this to be 90, so I'm going to go to item here and just change. Oh, it's this one. So let's change it to 90, just so I know that it's exactly 90. Let's take our camera needs to be a little bit bigger. Let's move it down a bit. Move this over, and I'm in perspective. If I was using orthographic, it wouldn't change so much. Everything would be a little less perspective-y, but alas, I am using perspective. This just won't fit, will it? Okay, I kind of like this, but it needs to be like up in the middle, I think. Or maybe I just need to make everything smaller. I like to look on the underside to make sure that I'm actually making like contact with the surface. Press 0 to take a look at our camera. So that looks pretty good. I think it looks nice. So let's take our camera, move it over a little bit so it's right in the middle. If we want, you can actually rotate it a little bit. Maybe there's one you like better. I think I like it a little bit. Okay, I think that looks good. Okay, so now I'm going to take this material. So we'll go to the materials panel here. It says material. I'm going to rename it as Triangle Glow. So now this is Triangle Glow. So you can take anything. I can take this, which is, oops. So if I tap on the DFD and I add a new material, now it's its own material. It's just white, but I can tap the materials, pull down, hit Tri Glow. So now they're glowing at the same rate. That doesn't look great again because it's Eevee, so let's switch to cycles. There's more calculations. So And by calculations, I just mean light bouncing off this, bouncing off that, giving a more true representation of what we see with our eyes. Whereas Eevee doesn't do all of that. Okay, so we switch here, and then you can see light bouncing. You can see the light bouncing off the floor a bit. I was going to think we can take a little bit of the roughness off the floor and make it a little more glossy. I'm going to change the specular. Specular is just how much the light is shining, like how much we can see the light shining. So you can take that up and down. See, now you can see the light sort of reflecting. The only thing that would have been a little bit nice to have is like the same letters, but a little bit bigger behind them. That would have been cool. But I don't know a good way to do that. Because if you expand it, then it's kind of expanding in all directions, and it doesn't look like it's just expanding for each individual letter, if that makes sense. Okay, so I think this looks pretty neat. Let's play around with the lights, see if there's anything. Let's see. Okay, so I think this looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and render it, and then yeah, and then I think that's it. So this is how I make like the opening frames, and everything is designed. Everything that I do now, I try to do it so that it looks like I am professional, you know, so it just looks like it. Like you've seen exactly what I do for something like this. But then when I do the little character, maybe driving behind or something, or I do a little animation where, you know, it's easy to do a key point at 0 emission, 0 light, and then to 100 where it lights up, and just have that in the beginning or the end. It just ups the, what is that term? Production value. It just adds to your production value. And I just love doing fun stuff like this. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. So the last part is this rendered version of this. Have fun, enjoy, make cool things, make beautiful things. Keep drawing, keep sculpting. I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Be sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to go more in depth, then definitely check out my Skillshare classes where I am a top teacher. I have about 50 classes, both Procreate and Nomad Sculpt. I also have a few classes on Udemy, so if you want to learn more, or you just like my style, you like the way I teach, you want to support me, those are some other places that you can do it. Thanks again, keep drawing, keep sculpting. I'll see you all in the next video.